Well, welcome to the first ever edition of the Puck Watching Road Trip podcast. We don't know how or where this is going to take us, but we kind of just want to pass some time here because we are still in for a very long time in the car, Nick, and we got to find something to kill the time, and what better way to kill it than talking about the St. Louis Blues.
How bad the Blues are. Yeah, I can talk for hours. But yeah, what do we have, like 4 hours left?
Yeah, hopefully a little less than
It's not
that.
the worst drive in terms of scenery, but it's still long. So
Yeah.
we're on the road.
Here's what I'll throw a question out first, and then we can talk about it. First of all, with last night, we already talked about it on Instagram a little bit. I did, but your wholehearted thoughts on last night against the Mammoth, where what we were kind of talking about earlier, just how they didn't play that badly, but it just wasn't enough at the end of the day. So what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't think they played badly, like you said. I thought they could have easily won that game.
Yeah.
I didn't think Hofer played a bad game. I thought most of those goals that they were able to put in the back of the net were some high danger chances, and there wasn't really that much he could do.
Yeah.
I think two of them were the bumper pass, and you have someone shoot up the middle, and those plays happen sometimes, but they were put away pretty successfully every time that they were able to get that shot off. And Blues had their chances. I remember Snuggerud's shot hitting the post in that third period. That was kind of a sucker punch. I thought that would have made it a one-goal game, but I still don't think they played badly. I thought the Blues were fine for the most part. They just let up a couple of those chances, and Utah was able to capitalize. I didn't even think Utah played that well. They just finished some of their chances. Yeah.
No, I think so too. That Snuggerud miss though was tough, and he had a couple chances last night to score where I thought he was going to finally break through, and that's kind of been rough going for him recently. And I think him and Kyrou both just. I think obviously Snuggerud had chances to score last night, but Kyrou again was nowhere last night, and it's really sad. Because we keep saying it again and again, where ever since he came back from that injury, like he's not performing. But even before that, it was kind of below what we normally would expect out of him. So we still didn't get much of a result out of him.
I've never been like a big Kyrou defender. I think you know that as well. But it's definitely. I feel like coming to a crossroads with him, where it's like you're paying him like $8 something a year to be a top talent on your team and maybe be your best player, if not your second best player. And he's playing like he should play on the third line of pretty much any NHL team. So that's a huge problem. And I don't think Rob has. I thought Rob played fine last night as well. But again, like you have to have more from him. He is not on a point per game pace. He did get hurt last night, but he did come back. That was very scary, though. I think he hit his face on the ice.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And he got tripped, but again, just not enough. And when your top forwards for the entire game are all on the fourth line, that is probably not going to win you a lot of hockey games. So, again, Oscar Sundqvist was our best forward last night, and that's probably not going to cut it. And there have been a lot of nights like that, by the way.
Yeah. So the top three of the best forwards on your stat card, Nick, were Sundqvist, you said Walker and Torps, right? Yep. Fourth line that just made the Blues kind of basically kept them in the game last night. And Sundqvist got a goal last night, which was fun to see. I think that was his third of the year. And then Buchnevich, surprisingly enough, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so Buchnevich was on the little bumper pass in the middle on that delayed call. The Blues never do that.
An excellent sequence by them. When I was watching that, I almost was mesmerized.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this team? What have they done with the St. Louis Blues?
Yeah.
But it was methodical, and that was on a delayed call, right?
Yeah.
So they got that extra attacker out. They never score with the extra attacker. They don't.
Yeah.
They never can. They never score on the power play either.
Yeah.
But that's another thing we could talk about. But the delayed call, and they moved that puck around like it was nobody's business, and I was really impressed. Just a bummer that they can't sustain that more often, but especially on the power play.
Yeah,
but
no, that's so true. I keep looking at the camera to see like the shaking on that. Another thing that we were doing last night. Obviously, we were talking with Bernie, and one of the things that he kept talking about was passion, and how a lot of the players and this team kind of lacks it a lot. So I see what he's saying, but he has said that now kind of twice when we've talked to him about just this need for energy that is just not with this team right now. So what do you see, like especially last night, where the passion was? I thought there was some, especially from that fourth line, but I think as you got further up, maybe there was a problem.
I didn't think passion was the problem at all last night. Against the Blackhawks, I totally could point to a lack of passion and caring, but I think that's such a subjective thing to levy on people, because sometimes people are just worse, and when people are not as talented or just not playing up to the caliber, they're going to look like they're not trying, but it's usually because they're bad. Yeah. And that's what I think a lot of people confuse this Blues team with sometimes, like, oh, they're not trying. I'm like, I think they're trying. And that's the part that's worrying, is that they keep losing games despite maybe effort levels there. But I do think it's really hard to judge effort levels sometimes. And you can't blame, like, a loss last night, in my opinion, on effort. I don't think that was the problem.
No, I don't think so either. But I just think that it's for the top players, like, for example, in Chicago, just with Rob or whomever, it kind of trickles down, throughout the rest of the lineup. So it's almost like a little infectious disease that it especially is very easy for a team that is like the St. Louis Blues right now in terms of performance. It's very easy for them to get the bug, for all of them, not the lacking passion sort of bug that I'm trying to say. But yeah, I don't think it necessarily was the problem last night, but like you could definitely see players like that they care. I think everybody cares. I think everybody's bought in, but there's just a difference in kind of how it looks on the ice, and yes, it's very subjective.
I think Thomas's natural body language it doesn't benefit him very well. He's kind of a really laid back, soft spoken dude.
Yeah.
And when your team starts to lose, and that body language is, repeatable every game, it kind of rubs you the wrong way. There is no question that his body language does seem very suspect at times. But I didn't even tell you this, but when the game ended last night, he was on the ice when the buzzer sounded, and he looked up into the crowd. I'm pretty sure he made eye contact with me, and he just looked completely defeated. Defeated. But we made eye contact, I'm pretty sure. And he did look extremely disappointed, and obviously rightfully so, but it does feel like the majority of this he probably does shoulder, and genuinely feels really horrible about the situation that's playing out with the team. But honestly, only so much he can do. It's not like he's performing that well relative to our expectations of him, but the whole team is underperforming, and it's a reoccurring theme that I don't think anyone can explain currently, and that's what's plaguing fans and the team, I think.
Yeah. No, that's so interesting you noticed that. It would be kind of funny if he did.
I'm pretty sure it happened.
I think it'd be very easy for you to say that Robert Thomas looked at you.
We look at each other sometimes.
Yeah, we look at each other and make eye contact. By the way, though, that it is very close, those seats to the
ice. They were.
So I would not be surprised if it's that.
I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, you got his number.
Yeah.
One of the things I also wanted to talk about was Utah and the environment itself. I was pretty impressed with it. I was a little skeptical at first because we were going around the street yesterday, and these people had no idea that a hockey team was playing that night. Like, by the way, there was a person, who said that, oh, okay, the St. Louis Blues are playing. Who are they playing? Like, who else would they play? in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment. That was probably the only time I've ever heard a situation like that play out, where we're right across, literally a baseball throw away from the arena, and they asked who the St. Louis Blues are playing tonight, and I was awfully confused. And once we said it, they're like, "Oh, okay." And I still don't think they fully grasped that they had a team, but that's all right.
It is really funny. I will say the people of Salt Lake City were very welcoming, I would say. We had some fun little tours around some historical places. Obviously met some of those people who had no idea who the Utah Mammoth were. But also a lot of Blues fans there. I was very impressed because this is not like a Chicago game where people can drive up pretty easily to it, or Nashville or Minnesota or whomever, where these are more popular away destinations. This is Salt Lake City, Utah, where it's not a short flight whatsoever, and we noticed that. We experienced that, and yet people really showed out, and I was very impressed with the fan base for doing that. And obviously we got some good interviews out of it, which you'll be seeing in the vlog.
No, it was cool. I was impressed. Also, a lot of people that are going to Vegas tonight. Almost everyone that we met also said they were going tonight to the Vegas game. I think we were the only ones that didn't get the memo that you should drive, because the flight to get there was $25, and it's probably a 45-minute flight. So we're still about 4 hours out. But hey, look at the scenery. Everything's great, and we're enjoying every second together.
Well, it's funny because literally that guy who we were talking to at this bar before say, "Oh wait, so it costs like $25, and our flight leaves at 11 a.m." And so like probably in a couple minutes here,
he'll be landing,
flying over us and landing.
Bye.
Which is just nuts. Yeah. So that kind of is annoying.
That sucks.
But yeah, I was, especially though, just for a new hockey team in a new city, hockey city, with Salt Lake, I think that overall it was a pretty good experience, I would say, because obviously this team was in Phoenix before, and already right then and there, it's hard to make a case for a hockey team in the desert sometimes. Do I think that the Arizona Coyotes are going to maybe come back at some point? Wouldn't doubt it. But sometimes it's hard to make a case like that. Same as Vegas, by the way. But Vegas is totally different.
Well, great things happen when you win Stanley Cups and consistently win like they do.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if Utah replicates that, everything's going to be fine for them as well.
Yeah.
But that fan that we interviewed, the Utah fan that you guys will see, was like, I haven't been a fan for that long. I'm like, you only could have been a fan for like a year.
Yeah.
So it's not like anyone has a lot of veteran status unless you followed them from
That's
Arizona.
what I'm saying. Some people, I think, transitioned to Utah from.
But I would imagine Salt Lake residents did not support the Arizona Coyotes.
Probably not.
So they are most of the local people are walking into a new team, essentially.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really think about that. Yeah. That whole move is kind of wild. Just how everything kind of happened so quickly. Like they set that thing up in like a couple months, that relocation, and it's just kind of amazing how Arizona fans are able to say, you know what, we still love our guys. 'Cause, I mean, it's still the same team, right? You know, everybody who was playing in Arizona when they left is still playing with Utah, and same coaching, same ownership, or same management.
Yeah,
not same ownership, but yet they kind of they still are on this team's wagon, which there really isn't much of a wagon with the Mammoth and the Coyotes. But you kind of hop on, and it's just so different than what we experience in St. Louis. Like, there's no following any team movement, especially with St. Louis to LA.
It's actually crazy, too, that when you look at Salt Lake City and St. Louis, like being from St. Louis, you would think, oh, well, St. Louis is a bigger city. Honestly, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Population-wise, I would
Salt
imagine.
Lake?
Than Salt Lake City?
Yeah, bigger.
It has to be.
Bigger.
We have the same amount of professional sports teams now. They have an MLS team, they have an NBA team, and they have an NHL team.
Yeah, that's
I don't really want an NBA team. That's just me being candid. But I mean, a football team changes everything for a city. I think we would probably get an Yeah, we would get an NFL team before they would probably, I would imagine, right?
For sure.
But we already lost one, so why would they give us another one? I don't know.
Because they don't have a proven track record of supporting UFL teams, Salt Lake City.
Oh, that's correct.
I mean,
yeah.
who doesn't deserve...
We're padding stats with the UFL support.
Who doesn't deserve an NFL team when they're consistently getting 35,000 people?
Have you been to a Battlehawks game?
I have not.
Seriously?
I have not. No.
Wow.
I have not.
So you don't care about them. Why should we get an NFL team that Luke
That's not what you should be accusing me of.
I think that's very disheartening to hear. As someone that should support the local community, you should go down to that deserted Edward Jones Dome and support your local UFL
It's not the Edward
team.
Jones Dome anymore.
What is it?
It's the Dome at America Center.
Oh.
See, I know more about it than you.
Have you been to a game?
I have not.
Okay, so we can't talk about it then.
I mean, honestly, though, I feel as though I am still too young to really remember Rams games that well.
I mean, you only went to like one.
No, I probably went to a couple more than that.
You probably did.
No, I remember a couple.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember everything. The last 9 years of that franchise were just in the toilet bowl. It was so sad to watch that team every single weekend, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being punished. It's like watching the Cardinals now.
Right.
So, or the Blues. Man, St. Louis sports are in so much trouble right now.
St. Louis City, too.
Woo.
Watching.
Wow. Yep. City.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah. It's funny how people kind of remember that time in like 2015 when Stan Kroenke moves the team, or 2014, 2015. And it was not a very pleasant time for the Rams anyway. Like, obviously the move was like a very terrible thing to do to the city. You know, obviously it made sense for Kroenke financially, but people, I think, a lot of the times fail to remember what was going on the field.
They also made the Super
time.
Bowl 2 years after they left.
I know, that was the weird.
Which is like the worst part about it, because they wouldn't do anything or draft well or sign anyone to save their lives, and all of a sudden they drafted Goff and they had Todd Gurley and they had a really good team.
Yeah.
And
we had Todd Gurley in St. Louis.
We did for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goff never played for the St. Louis Rams though.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. The last ever St. Louis Rams quarterback. Can you name this person?
Is it Bradford?
No, he was a couple years before.
Was it Case Keenum?
I think it was Case Keenum.
I mean, we didn't draft Case Keenum.
No, I know, but I'm saying it was either him or Nick Foles. I think it was Case Keenum, though.
He wasn't the... When did Bradford get traded?
I don't know when he got traded, but
I would honestly love to know.
Probably like 2013.
Because I actually would love to know that. I'm not very sure exactly how that transpired, the QB change. But Bradford sucked. He was so bad. Oh my God! Yeah, he won the Heisman. He was great at Oklahoma, but he was horrible on this team. But the Rams were bad, so I don't really fault him for that.
But it's not like that he went anywhere else afterwards.
No, he didn't do well anywhere else. He was just such a pocket quarterback. The guy couldn't move for his life, and he always got hurt too. So it was just that experience. It was
Bradford.
tough. Yeah.
And then the glory days of Tavon Austin.
That was when the Cardinals were good.
Yeah.
So you could kind of balance it.
Yeah, no, that was a very good time of St. Louis sports. But I would not even say that that's the best time of St. Louis sports, though.
2019 was the best.
Because
they made the NLCS that year.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That was my point.
Yeah.
It was like all of a sudden, you win the cup, and then 2019, and then in the October of 2019, all of a sudden they find a way to beat. Cardinals beat.
They beat the Braves.
The Braves.
My buddy was a huge Braves fan, and I was in class in college, and I look at my phone, and the Cardinals put up 11 runs the first inning or something like that.
That was the game 5.
Yeah, it was the final. It was the final game, and I came back and watched the rest of the game, and Flaherty pitched 7 innings, no runs.
Yeah.
That was when he was kind of peaking, and then he became horrible.
Yeah, because that injury. But
yeah, and it was a great year, and then the Blues had won prior, correct? Yeah, they had won. They had won already.
They had won
that
in
summer.
June.
Yeah.
And then the Cardinals were still playing in the background.
Yes, yeah. It was a great year. And that was the last time the Cardinals won a playoff series.
Yeah, I think the Battlehawks started that year too.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, what an exciting year that was for St. Louis. Wow. It really was though, as much as we want to laugh about it. Like that was maybe the peak of our sports fandom. Yeah. Was when the Cardinals and the Blues were truly like one of the better teams in their respective leagues, and it was awesome. Yeah. And we're getting a football team. Whoa, cherry on top. And then the city murmurs were happening at that point too. Right. So things were really looking promising at that point. And wow, are we looking at a different environment right now?
I know. And it's just so fun to think about how these teams kind of got to the places that they did. Like you said about the Cardinals already, but the Blues in last place, in the league at a point, and then working their way back. And the Cardinals, they were pretty consistent that year, but they beat the Braves, and then they just get swept by the Nationals.
They won. At least the Nationals won the World Series that year.
They did,
but it was the least competitive series, and that was a lot of foreshadowing. Even though, the Cardinals really, really could have done a lot more with that team that they had for those next few years. I don't count 2020.
Dexter Fowler, Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, got Ozuna. Well, he had some criminal problems, but he still is playing. And he had some really good years after he left the Cardinals.
He did.
But like a Rosarena, for example, as well, that's a tough one to let go. Yeah. Tatis as well, that's a bummer. But all that aside, they had Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, and Goldschmidt won that MVP. What was that, 2022?
Yeah, but they didn't have Arenado for 2019.
No, I'm not. But they did in 2022.
Yes.
And those following years after that, they got swept in NLCS. They really, really had a chance to be a contender in those playoffs. They made it 2 years, right? Because they lost to the Dodgers in the one-game wild card.
That sucked.
And that was when they won 17 games in a row?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was 17 or 18.
I remember my buddies would bet on the Cardinals. They bet on the Cardinals for a month straight, and they won thousands of dollars. It was crazy. And that was when Arenado finished third in the MVP voting and Goldschmidt won the MVP. And then they lost to the Dodgers in the one-game wild card, and that was BS anyway to have a one-game wild card to decide that. And then they won the Central the following year when Pujols came back? Or is that the year after?
No, that's right.
Whatever it was. And I watched that game. I remember I was in Dallas, went to the Morgan Wallen concert later that day, and I'm like, this is going to be such a great day. They're going to win. It's going to be awesome. And it was kind of set the trajectory for that franchise for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
When they hit the go-ahead, it was Yepes, right? That hit that go-ahead home run.
Yeah.
And they're up 2-0, and then oh my God, our closer Helsley.
Yeah.
He hurt his hand the week before, and Marmol lets him pitch, and the guy literally was walking everyone. Everyone loads the bases. They lose the lead, and they end up getting smoked in that game. And then they go on and lose, both at Busch. And after that, that was kind of the end of the Cardinals.
That was it.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience. I was driving home from school, and I was like, I gotta watch this game. So it was I think it was a Friday. So
it was.
A couple buddies all went back to the house, watched this top of the ninth. See Helsley
surely
close it out.
Helsley's not going to blow this lead.
Maybe it was the 7th and 8th. I started watching, and then Helsley comes in, and I was like, oh my God!
I almost destroyed my Dallas apartment. I was literally almost destroying. I'm like, why aren't they taking him out of the game?
Yeah.
He let up 4 earned, and he didn't have any outs yet.
I know.
It was man. That was.
And he was throwing wild pitch after wild pitch.
And he kept going like this. I'm like, clearly he's not healthy. Please take him out. And Marvel just let him pitch. It was crazy.
It was nuts.
And he's still the manager of that team.
He is.
So
he is
great.
Yeah. I'm just glad. I'm glad we're not coverage of Cardinals at all.
Oh yeah, the Blues are a lot better.
I mean, they're definitely not. But I'm just saying that
they're 17, 20, and 8 right now.
Yeah. Okay. But it's not like, I mean, Cardinals were very much below 500 last year too, which was tough to deal with.
They were bad.
I'd rather do the Cardinals though over City.
Oh. And we'll leave that to Jake and Justin. And God bless them. They're really hanging in there. They did have that. They had that good year, and that was fun. I don't know if it's gonna happen again. But soccer's such a weird sport. Like, you really don't know who's really gonna be that good. But they would know better than obviously we would.
Yeah.
It's not straightforward though. I don't understand soccer and why some teams are good and like some teams aren't.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I wanted to talk about something else regarding Blues hockey. Kind of really deviated there with Cardinal stuff.
The Cardinal sticks in your brain. You're like, man, I feel like we could have won a World Series in that time frame.
I know. But just talking about sports moments, I think, especially for the Blues, though, for you, it's so easy. I think everybody's like, what's your favorite Blues moment? It's like, oh, it's very easy. 2019 is so great, which it was. But, like, let's be honest here. Like, there was a lot of other moments. And by the way, even if you said 2019, say a specific moment.
Yeah, you gotta say it.
That, were you at Game 7 of Dallas versus St. Louis, when Pat Maroon scored that goal? Or were you at the hand pass game against San Jose? Like, that's when it gets fun.
That moment to me is the most memorable moment from that year.
What, the hand pass?
Because I watched it, and I don't think I've hurled so many expletives in my whole entire life than when that hand pass happened. Because it was so blatantly obvious, and they could not look at it.
Yeah.
They couldn't reverse it. And Bennington almost killed someone when he threw that stick against the boards.
Yeah.
Gotta love him. But I thought they were done.
I thought so too.
I thought they were done. The Sharks are going to beat the Blues again. I didn't understand why the Sharks were so good that year, but it felt like they had a really good team.
They did have a good team.
And I was like, they're done. It's going to be another, playoff exit, and what could have been.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board.
And they went on to win the next 3 games, and they didn't lose again. And I remember watching your little band performance at the School of Rock, and they were playing, I think it was game 4 or 5, and it was in San Jose, or 6. And that was when Schwartz had a Hattie, and Tarasenko had that.
It was game 5.
Was that game 5? And that's when Tarasenko had the shootout goal.
Yeah.
And he picked that pocket so freaking easily, and I was like, they might win the Stanley. Like, that was when I figured for myself, I'm like, maybe they can actually win the Stanley Cup this year because of that resilience that they had to do after the hand pass.
Yeah. No, that's a very good one. I think if we're talking about 2019, I mean, I feel like it's hard to deny the Jaden Schwartz Game 5 against Winnipeg last second goal.
Yeah,
I think that's like, I can remind myself that that happened in 2019, and then what happened in 2025 against the Jets. I guess maybe they got their revenge from that moment, even though it wasn't a series clincher in Game 5 like it was in ours last year. But, I mean, I think you could kind of tell that maybe the writing was on the wall right there, that something was, that we were probably going to win that series. But it wasn't guaranteed. We were going back to St. Louis for Game 6, and we were there, and he scores a hat trick in Game 6.
Yeah.
That to me was like the most crazy chain of events in that one. Obviously, there are so many different ones, and the hand pass one's awesome.
I mean, the Dallas series as well. We talked about it yesterday, but I watched that goal again recently, and the fact that Robert Thomas is on the ice in overtime in 2019 and hits the post, and it squirts behind, is that Ottinger?
No, it was Ben Bishop.
Oh my gosh, it was. That's right. Yeah, Ottinger, no. And Rob, is out there playing with Pat Maroon, and Maroon was able to put the puck in, but it's just crazy to see him when he was that young. That's his rookie year. playing in such a critical moment, and you see him on the ice now, and it kind of makes you a little sadder. Yeah. But still, it's cool to look back and see how long he's been on the Blues, and he's seen the best of the best from this franchise already. So yeah, it's just interesting to think about.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another moment that for 2019 that I can think of off the top of my head. One of the crazier moments as well for me was in the Stanley Cup Final for the Bruins with the no trip in Game 5.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Clearly a trip.
Who was that? Perron?
It was Perron that did it. Yeah, and O'Reilly scored.
And then
I think maybe O'Reilly or
someone scored.
Well, I don't think he scored it, but somebody did. Yeah.
He literally put his hands up. He was like, "What?" And they didn't even call anything. And it was clearly a trip.
Clear as day.
Yeah.
And they, because we were up at that point.
Yeah.
And then
but things were really starting to turn.
Yeah.
That was the problem with that game.
Yeah.
So I remember that clearly. That was a big bailout, a massive bailout.
Game 5 was I would say, out of all of the ones of the 4 that we won, obviously one of the more pivotal ones, but it's a tie between Game 5, I'd say, and Game 7 of like the shakiest games that they won.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yep.
Like the Game 4 at home, the first ever Stanley Cup home playoff or home Stanley Cup win that's ever happened.
The only one
in St. Louis, literally the only one after 4 times.
Yeah.
They played really well in that game, I remember.
Yeah.
And then in Game 2, when they won in overtime, Carl Gunnarsson, boom, 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 Gunnarsson.
Yeah.
And I feel like that though the Game 5 and the Game 7 though were just so shaky compared to those. Because remember we dominated the overtime in Game 2.
You could smell it a little bit when
it was brewing.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah, very good.
But there's a guy when we went to the Boston game a few weeks ago, I guess a month ago now. He said, "I still think we were better, but you guys won." And I'm like, honestly, I kind of agree with that. To this day, will never apologize for winning the Stanley Cup in 2019, but I think the Bruins were really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really good. And Bennington played very well for probably 5 of those 7 games. Like, really well.
Yeah.
Lights out.
Yeah.
And he is definitely and people remember that, and that's why he's such a legend.
Yeah.
But he is the reason, I think, that we were able to make that run. And we were able to probably get by in the Western Conference, maybe with him not playing as well. But in that Stanley Cup, he is a huge reason
for sure
that we won that series.
Yeah. I try and name me the top 6 for the Bruins that season. I think I
honestly
can.
Don't know.
Well, you could at least name one line that was unbelievable.
So I know a lot of people that were on the team.
They called it perfection line.
Was it Marchand?
Yes.
Pasternak?
Yes. Not in the league anymore.
Krejci.
No, but actually,
I just
good
remember
guess.
Krejci's
No, but he was on the
name.
second line.
He was. Who was the third? No.
Oh, come on, he was unbelievable. Patrice Bergeron.
Oh my gosh, Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Was that his last year?
No, he had a couple more years. His last year was
the President's Cup.
The President's Cup team.
Jim Montgomery led Bruins,
who lost in the first round.
At least they made it interesting.
Yeah, Florida Panthers.
That one makes sense though.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah. But again, it's just. And by the way, that's happened. I'm not sure if it's happened in the first. I want to get that accurately, so I don't want to make any predictions with that. But I know that's happened twice in very recent years, and obviously it happened with Boston. But the one that always comes to mind for me is in 2019. It was happening in the background while the Blues were fighting with the Jets. That Tampa won the President's Cup that year, President's Trophy, and they get swept in the first round by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
That was crazy. Wow. The Columbus Blue Jackets won a playoff series. And the swept it. Wow.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even remember that at all.
So
those playoffs are such a blur because Colorado lost too.
Yes.
That was one of those teams. I was still so worried about them because they were still so good then.
And very young.
And so young.
Yeah.
And they were so up and coming. Who did they lose to?
They lost to the Flames in the first round. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I think the Sharks won against the Flames. No.
I don't know.
Maybe the Avs beat the Flames, and then the Sharks beat the Avs. It's one of the two.
All I know is we did not have to play them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
And that was Cale Makar's first year. First, actually, couple games. He played in the NCAA tournament.
That's crazy.
And for BU, and played, and then all of a sudden joins them in the playoffs and is monstrous.
Yeah.
For them, insane. So everybody knew he was going to be an unbelievable player just off that.
I was going to say too, kind of segueing, still talking about the Blues, like post 2019. I don't know if people forget, but at least we don't really remember it because COVID 2020 year was just such a blur for most people. But the Blues were like literally the best team in the NHL that season, and they looked great. They looked legitimately really good, and that was the first year with Falk, right?
Yes.
And
traded Edmondson.
Yes, and they got and they had Pietrangelo still, so things were still okay, and Bennington was still playing well, and
But Jake Allen was playing really well that year too.
Yeah, right,
the backup,
right.
Yeah.
And it seemed like everything was going great, and the Blues were poised to be a good team for a long time. And boy, oh boy, like once the COVID shutdown impacted everything, and they put them, no pun intended, on ice for those few months, and then put them in the bubble, they looked like a completely different team.
Oh yeah,
like a completely different team. And I understand like not able to get it all together, be cohesive, but you saw the same things manifesting the following year, where you're like, this is not the same team. And you kind of like, I would love to know your thoughts. Like, what do you think happened to make them become kind of a shadow of what they were in 2019?
Are you saying what happened in 2020?
Yeah, like what caused them to take such a huge step back?
I think it was just all about momentum. I think for that, just like you were riding a high the whole 2019-20 season of being an elite team, which the Blues really have not been in a very long time. Like since they had won the President's Trophy, and they were kind of in the race to win the President's. By the way,
they were.
There was somebody ahead of them. I don't remember in the East. There was somebody. I forget who it was.
Like it was a true joy.
Yeah, it was.
Watch them play hockey that year.
It was great.
It was awesome. But keep going.
It was great. No, they also had the combination of Pietrangelo and Falk, which was just elite.
And Parayko was playing well.
And Parayko was playing well with Bouwmeester.
Yeah.
By the way, that was the same year that he had his heart attack.
Yeah.
Which was crazy
that's
too.
Crazy.
But yeah, I think they were also probably motivated just by the idea of cementing a sort of dynasty too, because like throughout that, like you had the same exact team minus one person on that squad with Falcon and Edmondson out. I think they traded Fabry that year maybe too.
Yeah, I think so.
But you basically had the same team.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's ride this high, let's take advantage of the momentum, and let's like build upon this as best as we can. And they did a really good job of it. I think they played, I want to say 60-ish games that year, 60 something.
Yeah.
And they were
it
easily
shut down in March, so it had to be around there.
So they easily won the Central, easily.
Yep.
And then when they got to COVID in the bubble, it was just atrocious. Remember who they lost to in that playoff series?
I don't remember.
Oh man,
was it no?
It was like a random team to play.
It was,
in the playoffs.
but they lost to everyone. They had those
the round robin,
and they legitimately, I think they won one game, And they looked so bad, and you just were scratching your head. You're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
These are the same players. Well, why aren't they able to, kind of pick up where they left off and not ask for exactly the same play?
And you were playing the same teams.
You're playing the same team. It's not like they improved or signed anyone or whatever. So that sucked. Like, it was a bummer. And then that's what happened, like, over that offseason. That's what led to the Pietrangelo departure, right?
Yeah.
And that's when things really, really started to turn. And once he was gone, it really felt like they took a huge step back. But there was the 1 year, and 2022, 23, where they
2021
were 1 and
22. 21-22.
I know for a fact, after they lost in the bubble, that following season, they got swept by the Avalanche.
That's true.
And I remember
led by Mike Hoffman.
Justin Falk got hurt.
Yes.
I remember that very vividly.
Kadri.
Yes. That's why, that actually spawned the whole Kadri hatred.
Yeah.
I believe. And then they lost. They got swept. It wasn't even remotely a close series. And then the following year, that's when they went on their heater. And that Central was crazy, right? It was Avs, Wild, us, right?
Yes.
That were battling in the Central. And we had like 109 points or something like that.
Yes.
We had a bunch of points, and we were really good, especially offensively. We were really, really talented.
Yeah.
And then that's when we beat the Wild in the first round, and then also managed to stretch that Avs series to 6. And you kind of felt like everything was fine. And you're like, okay, like we're good. We have a good team. Defense was still a struggle, but offensively, we're great. And then that following year, you're like, holy hell.
Yeah.
What in the world happened to this team? And they would lose 3 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, 7 in a row. And these are all the same guys that are on the team the year before.
Yes.
So that, to me, that year, you're like, something stinks.
Yeah.
Like, stinks. And you can't really figure out exactly what happened. But so many people, whether it was age or skill level, just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are, but that year was the most concerning. That's what led to everything, I feel like.
Well, let's go season by season here. Mike Hoffman, the wicked one-timer in 2020 to 21.
It was nasty.
It was so nasty. And remember, we signed him, I think, either mid-season or just before the season, and for $5 million.
Yeah.
1 year. Yeah. We'll take a flyer on this guy. And
couldn't do anything else.
Sucked at the first part of his time. His only weapon is his shot. He can't play other than that.
Yeah.
And then that guy, toward the end of the season, once you get him on the power play, it's just easy. Top left, top right, corners.
It's kind of like the guy in Mighty Ducks, the knuckle puck.
Yeah, exactly.
He literally can't do anything else.
Yeah.
You just have to put him in some space and let him shoot, and everyone ducks. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was great. But the team wasn't that good that year itself. And it was a very easy year to make the playoffs, too.
It was,
the bubble year. I think more than half of the league made the playoffs that season. Because remember, the divisions were so weird. Like, they were not a Central Pacific. And
that wasn't the bubble.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
No, but there was a difference
the following
in
year.
the divisions.
I remember.
Yeah. It was like the Canada West. Or
right.
It was very different.
I remember getting swept, though, in that first round.
Well, because that season, we played Arizona like 7 times in a row.
We did. That's right. Oh, my gosh. That's right. We can't keep playing them. Yeah. No.
I think we kept losing, too.
We definitely lost. We lose to them all the time. And whether it's them or Utah, I don't know what it is. I mean, they lose all the time now.
Yeah.
But even when they were a good team, I felt like they always lost to them.
Yeah. Because they were never a good team either.
No.
Never. No. So I would say for that year,
Mike Hoffman.
That was nuts. Mike Hoffman.
The Mike Hoffman year.
That was when also Robert Thomas made the transition to center. I think that year.
Sounds right.
Which was, and then Kyrou starts to get going a little bit too that year, and you kind of start to see the developments. I think Buchnevich's first year too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think his first year.
Yeah.
So like, they were adding, and it was the first year without Pietrangelo too. So that was also the big one.
And they signed Krug.
They signed Torrey Krug, which that right there changed the trajectory of the Blues probably forever, or at least that 8-year period.
Because you really didn't sign a defenseman.
You didn't sign a defenseman. You signed somebody who's
great on the power play.
Could move the puck so well, but it's just not a good defenseman and is a liability out there a lot of the time.
Yeah. And you expected Parayko.
Who would he play with?
Falk.
Krug and Falk. Oh.
Oh, the joy, the memories. Yeah.
I think 2 Minnesota people, maybe.
You remember? I remember so distinctly when they signed Krug. He tweeted at Robert Thomas.
Yes.
And he's like, "Did we just become best friends because Krug laid Robert Thomas out so badly in that 2019 Cup, and it was such a dirty hit." But he said, "Did we just become best friends?" I'm like, you know what? This is going to work. This is going to be great. And then it literally turned into maybe the worst. Would we say that's probably the worst decision Doug Armstrong maybe has ever made? It's not re-signing Pietrangelo and signing Torrey Krug. It felt like it changed everything for the team.
I mean, I feel like
the one good year.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of any other decisions he's made that other than that that would top him. I just don't think there is.
I don't think there is.
If anything, it's like not keeping TJ Oshie. That was, and then trading for Troy Brouwer.
Yeah,
that's the only other one I can think of. But I don't think that's that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, because we were just fine without Oshie. It definitely screwed up Armstrong's legacy for sure. I mean, you go off that Cup win, and then you have him for another year, and I think he wanted to stay in St. Louis. Apparently,
I don't know
the story.
I don't think we'll ever truly know what happened until Pietrangelo retires.
Yeah,
and he might retire.
It's like an NDA, right? Probably right.
But it does feel like there's something that's both of them, Armstrong and Pietrangelo, that is, just are not saying.
Yeah.
Like something had to have happened. Because why in the world would Pietrangelo have wanted to leave the Blues?
I don't know.
And why would Armstrong not want to sign him?
Yeah.
So
the only issue with it, I remember
cap
when there was debate, was the cap issue. Was like, all right, you're going to be pretty strained,
older,
and you're going to get, and Pietrangelo is going to be 38 years old when this contract is done. So it's like, do you want that? But it's like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that they offered him like $8.5 million. I want to say, for 8 years, which is exactly what he wanted.
That does make sense.
I think he's making 9.5 in Vegas.
So just on the margins, kind of.
Yeah, so we got $1 million more, but I feel like he would have valued being in St. Louis a ton over just making a big move to Las Vegas, which he won another Cup in, which is awesome for him.
For him, he probably would say he made the right decision.
Yeah.
But you never know what could have happened if he was still a Blue. I bet the Blues would be in a much, much better position if they still had Alex Pietrangelo on the team. I just don't think there's any other way of looking past that. However, you do have to consider, there is no Philip Broberg if Alex Pietrangelo is still on your team. It just wouldn't have happened. Or Dylan Holloway. But I think we both probably would say that we maybe rather would have still had Pietrangelo than even having the ability to sign either of those players last year.
It's an interesting way to think about it.
But I'm just saying, all of that had such a huge compounding effect on the trajectory of the Blues for those next 5 seasons after he left. And it's just, and that's why I truly do think, and I'm sure Armstrong will probably think this at the end of the day too, that has to be the worst decision that he's made. It has to be. Because you just don't know what if they were able to keep him, you would think the Blues would be in a better position.
But also the forward core was aging as well.
They didn't get rid of those players until 2 seasons after that.
Yeah, I know. But O'Reilly's getting older. Tarasenko doesn't want to be on the team and is also getting older.
O'Reilly has the most points right now on the Predators than any other Blue.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah. We talked about that.
It is not as if, O'Reilly didn't have anything left in the tank.
Well, no, but that's just a gamble.
I'm not saying they should have kept him, but I'm just saying those decisions don't look that good still.
No.
And not to say they shouldn't have traded it, they had to, I think at that point. But it doesn't mean that it really did help the team. I don't think it really has so far. If you look at the last 3 years since they've been gone.
Where did Senko went to the Rangers?
He went to the Rangers.
Right.
And then O'Reilly went to the Maple Leafs.
Because from that we got...
And then Mikla was gone too.
Right. We got Stenberg and Lindstein from those 2 first-round picks.
And we don't know what that's
going to look like right now. And then Dvorsky was our
kind of know what Stenberg. We know what Stenberg is doing right now.
Yeah. But there's so much time for him to grow. And then we got... there was another person who left that year. That is really good now.
I'm trying to remember.
It's a 4th liner for the Blues for a while.
Oh, Barbashev.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
Although he's much better now, he was so bad that year. He was so bad. And I remember watching him, and I'm like, God, this guy sucks.
I don't really remember that.
Oh my gosh. He really struggled that year. He really struggled, and I think that's definitely what played into the decision of getting rid of Barbashev. But it did seem like once he joined Vegas, he was immediately one of their best players legitimately. And it made me very mad.
He's playing on the first line with Jack Eichel. It's unbelievable.
Who would have thought that? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Gosh. It sucks.
And then we got
we kept
from that
Sundqvist
trade. we did. Well, no,
on that line. I know. But on that line, we're like, oh, thank God we still have Sundqvist.
Yeah. Technically we have Sundqvist and Steen still. Steen just isn't on the ice.
We still have that line. Yeah. It's so funny, actually.
We also got another guy too that year from that Barbashev trade, that prospect. I actually am blanking on his name right now. The guy from Vegas. Zach Dean.
He's back. He cleared the NHL addiction protocol.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think it was.
No, that sounds right.
Yeah, and he's good.
Okay.
He's back.
I doubt we see him ever.
I don't ever foresee him ever playing for the Blues.
Which is so sad.
I know.
You get a first-round pick prospect. Obviously, the percentage of all those people working out is low for a lot of the time. But, no, it just... And plus, you have a first-rounder this year, and, boy, you would love to be in a very good spot for that first-round pick if things keep going by the wayside in January here. If they lose to Vegas tonight, then I think we're officially hopping on the blow it up train. Is that fair?
I've always believed that for the last week, I guess.
Yeah.
But there was no situation where you could lose all 3 games in regulation and expect not to kind of hit the panic button and really start to blow this thing up. But I think the question is what really does that mean? I don't know. I think a lot of people have very different interpretations as to what rebuilding or exploding this entire experiment means. Does it mean trying to get rid of someone like Jordan Kyrou or Robert Thomas? Or does it mean getting rid of all the middle core? Or, honestly, what can you do to try to position yourself better for the future?
Yeah. You know what I could foresee happening? I'm just thinking about this on the fly. I could see a scenario where the Blues part ways with the following players, and I'll explain why. Justin Falk, who doesn't have a lot more time left on his contract anyway, but Justin Falk, top of his value right now, probably the top he'll ever have the rest of his
Seriously,
career.
It's true.
Justin Falk, Jordan Kyrou, and Jake Neighbors.
Oh,
Yeah.
That would definitely hurt a lot of Blues fans.
It would. I think
the
so
other
as
two,
well.
I don't really think most people would care. I mean, Kyrou, yes, but people are so hot and cold about Kyrou, so
Yeah.
I don't think that one would sting as much. But Neighbors, I
So
do think it
so
would.
Kyrou, I'll explain. Well, yeah, Kairou's kind of obvious. We've been just saying this for a while. I just don't think that he's a person who you can build a viable cup contending team with right now. I just don't think that with his inconsistencies that he's had this year and is just the type of player he is. It's sometimes just it's not what this team I think is built for and needs, in my opinion.
He can't be your best player.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And that's the problem with
Yeah.
Rob.
I think that's an easier way to say it.
And Kyrou
Yeah.
is that those guys. I love Robert Thomas to death, and I think he's a great player.
Yeah.
But is he going to be your number one center on a Stanley Cup winning team? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Unless you have absolute studs
Yeah.
around Rob, and then you don't.
No.
Like you don't have those guys. And I think Kyrou's a good player too, but he's probably a second liner, a winger.
Which
Like,
but he's a great player on a
and he
good team.
kind of is on the second line.
Yes, he is.
Usually when the Blues are healthy. That does not mean the first line is that good, though. That's
Yeah.
the difference. And Jake Neighbors is a good third liner.
Yes.
That is
Very
what-
good third liner.
He's
actually.
a good third liner.
Yeah.
He can score 15, 20. He's not even on pace for 20 goals right now. But he can score.
He was earlier.
I know he was earlier, but he can score 20 goals, in any given season, and that's a heck of a third liner, and he's got a lot of physicality to him too.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I think teams crave for a guy like Jake Neighbors.
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah.
I'd be licking my chops if I was a good team and I could get Jake Neighbors on the third line.
Like a guy who can be on your second power play unit.
Other teams inquire.
Yeah.
You're making a case.
Yeah. Please inquire. Yeah. I mean, dude, we could
Our
get
mailbox is wide open.
we could
We're
get
taking flyers.
absolutely a first round pick and change with Jake Neighbors.
Maybe even like get Brady Tkachuk too or something. I don't even know. Maybe get McDavid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm joking, but it's just like you could probably get I would imagine you'd be able to get a good amount of assets if you were to do a mid-season trade for Jake Neighbors.
Yeah.
So,
but do you agree with that? Would you see a scenario where we part ways with him?
I see a scenario where they part ways with anyone.
Okay.
I honestly do. The problem that's going to stand for all these players, does Neighbors have a no trade clause?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Is he
They
signed
re-signed
for
him.
a contract?
Another 2 years.
Or is it? But was that an RFA deal? I don't even know.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'll have to look.
People forget how young he still is. It's actually pretty crazy. And he's literally on our first line, which is, just a concern in and of itself. But I honestly don't know what Armstrong is going to be able to do with all of his top players, just having clauses built into their contracts where they dictate where they can go and where they can't go.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a problem, and I don't know how you're going to get past that. And I know he tried to trade Shen last year, and Shen said no. Yeah. And that'll be a long-standing problem for all of those players that he wants to get rid of.
Okay. Jake Neighbors is an RFA in 2027. So he's signed through this year, and then is an RFA at the beginning of
next
the
year?
off season. The beginning of the off season this year. Or this season.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. Nope.
I was going to say that does not sound right.
Nope.
25-26, 3.75 million.
26-27, 3.75.
Yeah.
And after that.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, teams can afford that easily. Easily for a very good
Come get him.
player. Come
Yeah.
get him. He's open for business.
And it sucks talking about your team like this. I genuinely don't like it.
I don't either.
Because it does feed into, because players, listen to media, and not to say they're listening to us, but I'm just, in general, they know the rumors, and it does suck have to talk to people as if they're just pieces to a business, but they are. Like, it is a business, and it is a product, and unfortunately, like, there is no product that is finished right now on this team. Like, they're all very movable pieces, in the sense where they're not good enough, generally speaking, to think that you can't trade them. But they do dictate, where they can go, and that's what leads to I don't know. It's a paralysis type of situation because you just can't really do anything in the meantime.
Right. So okay, say that it's your ideal Blues trade deadline, and that they're in dead last, no coming back from it, and Doug Armstrong has said, "I'm blowing this team up." Not actually, but has said that he's willing to trade players. Who would you target on trading? Maybe different than mine, number one. And two, what do we need in return for these players?
I know Armstrong likes to talk about the hockey trades.
Yes.
Where you would actually get a valuable piece back that can contribute now. That's his favorite type of trade. That's what he probably is going to look for if he trades a top talent like Kyrou or Robert Thomas. And I get that. I get that a lot. But at the same time, I genuinely don't know what. I don't really know what I would want. I don't do we really want to watch this team suck for the next 2 years? And it's not to say they're good now, but at least they'll win at a few games here and there. If they were to get rid of someone like Robert Thomas, they would be horrible. Legitimately awful if they did not have someone like Robert Thomas. So that is kind of what it would take for the Blues to really, really be bad. And I know some people would want them to be really, really bad, and they would want to trade someone like Rob or Kyrou, but I don't know. I've tried to ask myself that question. It's do people really have an appetite for outright tanking? I don't know. And you want to get, have a high odds for the number one pick.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You literally get rid of your best player.
Yeah.
And that would be Robert Thomas, or that would be Jordan Kyrou. No one would probably want Pavel Buchnevich. So that's the concern too, because you're selling
scored
low.
Last night.
But you're selling low on almost all of these players now, with the exception of Justin Falk. So I think that puts them in a really bad position. But I don't really think Rob, you would have to really sell low, because you know how good Robert Thomas can be.
And I think teams know how Jordan Kyrou can be too.
I think people.
They know they can score 35 goals.
Yeah, he can score 35 goals and be a minus 50 on the ice while doing it.
He did not do that last year, dude.
I know. No one really, besides Shen, I think, the only guy that was in the negatives. Yeah. But the Blues were, they literally won 20 games in the last 24, and they that's what it took for them to make the playoffs by a point.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, you said that on that last episode. They did not make it by a point. They tied Calgary.
And they won on the tiebreaker. But everyone already knew that was going to happen, no matter if the Flames lost or won that last game.
Right.
Yeah, because they beat Utah. It was fantastic.
5-0.
Yeah, they
or
smoked
6-1 or something.
One of the best games I've ever seen them play.
I know.
Honestly.
I know, they were committed. No, it isn't. So
what would you want to do?
Well, I don't think that this team can afford rebuild like that, like a blow it up type thing. St. Louis is not a big enough and supportive hockey town. It is it is an unbelievable sports hockey town. But for the sake of the tickets and all of that, selling and getting people into these games, keeping the team afloat financially, not sure if they can afford to lose all of their top guys in a big sell day, like Thomas or Kyrou or whomever. I just think that you go for specific areas that that people can make up for some of the lost minutes that you're not going to have with some of these guys. So, for example, with Justin Falk, get rid of him very soon. And by the way, hats off to Justin Falk. I think I will consider his career as a Blue to be pretty good. Not great, but pretty good.
I would say it's really average.
I think it's pretty good. Pretty good. And I'm saying pretty good that way.
We need to look at the stats there.
Okay, you want me to look up the stats? I'll look up the stats. Keep talking while I pull up the stats.
Because I remember Falk fondly in the early year or two, and in the last 3, it has been tough sledding for the guy. I can't really, especially last year, I think he was especially horrible. But even the year before, I don't remember him being very good at all.
He's the team leader in goals.
This year, yeah, that's not saying much for this team right now.
Career minus 72. That's his number.
As a Blue?
Career is a
That's so funny. Oh, man, that's so sad. No. As a Blue or just in general?
Just in general.
Oh.
I mean, remember, you played like 8 years with the Hurricanes.
I know.
Started playing in 2011 with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Man, he's old.
His rookie year, he had 8 goals, 14 assists, and 22 points, minus 16. But he's rookie.
Just go to the Blue. I don't care
I
about
know. I'm just saying for context. First season as a Blue, he had 5 goals and 11 assists, 16 points, and a minus 3.
How many games?
The 69, the max amount you could on that 2019 year, 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
56 games the next year because of the shortened season. 7 goals, 18 assists, so more the next year. 25 points and a plus 11.
Yeah. I remember he
was
played
good that
pretty
year.
well that year.
This was... Holy cow, I do not remember this. You're going to be shocked at this.
No, this was when the Blues were good.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
But I forgot he was very good with this, too. 76 games played in 2021-22 season. 16 goals, 31 assists, 47 points. And guess that plus minus.
Plus 25?
41.
Wow. I mean, I remember so vividly, like, they were smoking teams that year.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely destroying them. So that honestly doesn't shock me that much because everyone played really well that year.
Yeah.
You look at Rob, too. Like, he had a fantastic year that year.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So did Booch. It was wild.
Okay, 22-23.
This is when really things started to really get bad. This is when things really dropped off.
82 games played.
Wow, he played the whole season.
Whole season. Hasn't done that since. 11 goals, 39 assists.
Wow.
For 50 points.
points.
And that was the most ever in his career. And he had with the 50 points, he had a minus 4.
That's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. No.
So, but I think you're thinking about this year.
Last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
23-24 when the Blues started to get really bad. They were, 22-23 maybe.
I'm almost positive the Blues had like 90 points this year and they still didn't make the playoffs.
So the year that, the first year that they did not make the playoffs, 22-23.
Correct.
That was when he had 50 points.
Yes.
When they were bad.
That's when they traded O'Reilly and Tarasenko.
So he had 50 points that year. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then he only played, I kind of forgot about this, 23-24, he had 60 games played. So he missed 22 games.
Yeah, I remember he was hurt. That's when Jake almost hit him with his car. I remember. Yeah.
That's actually awesome.
Almost out for longer.
That's great.
Yeah.
2 goals. 28 assists, 30 points.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad.
It's actually like...
What was his plus minus?
Oh, minus 2.
It's honestly not as bad as I thought it would be. Wow.
24-25, Nick.
Oh, he was bad last year, if I remember correctly.
I mean, he played 18 more games than the year before. Did not play all 82 again, 78.
That's a lot.
And had 4 goals, double the amount of goals that last year.
4 goals.
And 28 assists again, and 32 points.
Plus minus.
Plus minus at minus 9.
So that was why okay, that makes sense because you know how hard it was to be minus last year on that team?
Yeah, it was hard.
They had 99 points last year.
Yeah.
They won a ton of games.
Yep.
And for him to still have a plus minus of minus 9, playing 78 games, is honestly hard to do, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So that you can see like trending upwards and then just kind of a gradual decline for the last 3 years. And I know he's played, mildly better this year with the goal scoring at least.
45 games played every game thus far. 11 goals, and he has more goals than assists.
Really?
Right now. Yep.
Wow.
10 assists, 21 points, minus 6.
That makes sense.
I mean, it's not bad.
The goal differential is insane, so that doesn't surprise me that everyone is in the minus right now.
But that was kind of a fun experiment, just going at his stats.
Yeah.
Because I think it surprised you.
Sorta.
So I think the point is that I think he had a pretty good career as a Blue, but you got to get him out. It just, the time is nigh for him at the top of his value, and there are so many teams that would love a power play quarterback
and a veteran
like him,
defenseman.
a veteran defenseman, and an offensive-minded guy.
You heard it.
Yeah.
Teams, we're open for business.
Open. Yeah, give us a call.
Jake Neighbors and Justin Falk, blockbuster deal.
Yeah. And then, Kyrou, I think, is just obvious. I just don't know, though, how...
So you're done standing for Jordan Kyrou?
I'm not done with it. Wow, look at all the cows on there.
Oh, wow, those are the traditional-looking cows, too.
Yeah.
Not the
it's like prairie
factory farming guys.
Prairie farms type
stuff. It does. It's prairie farms cows. Chocolate milk cows.
Chocolate milk cows. But I think it's hard for me with Kyrou because to me it just changes day by day sometimes, or season by season actually. Like after last year, it was like I love it. You know, he made significant strides as a whole of a player, not as an offensive guy. He had the same amount of goals as he normally does, but just as a complete player.
You saw it in the plus minus.
It was evident in there, but I think it's on the ice.
Yeah.
But I don't see that guy this year. But I also don't see a lot of guys this year.
I was going to say he's just one of many.
So he's one of many. I won't give him too much crap for that. But I do worry about his future with the team and just relying on him as one of your best players and your best goal scorer, though. Like that's the big thing. So you got to find somebody that can be your goal scorer. Like think about the last couple years of Blues hockey. You had Jordan Kyrou as your top goal scorer, and then before that, you had a guy like Vladimir Tarasenko, who you relied on for your goals. Easy 30 goals a year. You have to have those players that are going to get you those numbers every single season. And Buchnevich, by the way, had 30 goals in his first year as a Blue, and then look at what happened. Like, has gotten worse and worse every single year. So, obviously there is a problem with inconsistencies, for sure, with these people. But we have to find that person that can do it. Obviously, it's hard. It's hard to score 30 goals in the NHL. And also season by season. Like, that's just hard to do. So, in terms of value, though, that I'd want out of these players, I would not go hockey trade style. I would maybe try to get like a young forward that has some potential.
Celebrini.
Like a Holloway type guy. Yeah. And I think you get a first rounder. You get a first rounder and a Holloway-esque type player. I'm thinking of like a Matthew Nyes type guy from Toronto.
Yeah.
Like something like that. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
Okay.
I get it. The problem with we have 2 first-round picks. Where are you picking? Like, a lot of these players that are really, really, really good, Nathan McKinnon,
you trade up
Cale
for
Makar, Connor McDavid, a lot of these guys are literally number 1 picks in the draft.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know if Gavin McKenna is going to be worth, selling everything in order to get someone like that or not.
I'm not even sure he's made the first rounder anymore.
You don't think? No?
Or it's not a first rounder. I meant first overall.
First overall?
Yeah, he's...
That's the problem when
Stenberg's brother.
Yeah,
is up there.
Reunite. Come on, Otto, get him.
Yeah.
But if you're not really sold on like a top-end talent number 1 overall pick, like Bedard, I would have been totally okay with selling if I was going to get someone like Connor Bedard. And I was a Bedard believer, like from the beginning. I know that he struggled for a little bit, but that guy is so freaking good. And what the Blues, I would kill to have someone like Bedard in the Blues. Absolutely kill.
Yeah.
And he is like, no matter which way we would like to splice it, he is so much better than our top players. It's not even close.
Yeah.
So we don't have anyone like that. And Blues have traditionally been pretty depth oriented.
Yeah.
They don't have those guys. The only guy you can really point to in the last like 15 years is Vladimir Tarasenko, who was on the cover of NHL like 16.
Probably him and Pietrangelo.
But he was never going to be on an NHL cover. Like
no. But he was like definitely a top 10.
He was one of the top, probably
league.
top 10 defensemen. Yeah, probably. Yeah. And we just don't have those guys, and we've talked about this before, but they legitimately don't have anyone sniffing, maybe even in the top 30, top 40. You know, Robert Thomas is the only one, and he's probably, like, legitimately, what number overall, like, in terms of forwards, would Robert Thomas, would he be in the top 20?
He would.
Oh, shit. Wow. It's a rock. Whoa. We're good.
Okay.
Would he be in the top 25?
Like a little mock draft?
Overall.
Like, yeah.
No, overall in the NHL right now.
He's not in the top 20, no.
Would he be in the top 30?
Oh. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if he would be in the top 30.
Comfortably top 40. I'm not sure about top 30.
And it goes back to, can you win with a lot of, this is going to be a little mean, mediocre talent?
Yeah.
Like, usually you don't. Like, name a team in the last 15 years that can win with no one in the top 25, top 30 even. Like, it generally just doesn't happen. If you go, who won last year?
The Cup?
Yeah. Jeez.
Panthers, sorry.
Panthers.
They went back to back.
They have a ton of top talent. Yeah. A ton of it.
Barkov, Kachuk, we're good there.
And then you go to even like I know the Knights won recently as well. They have a ton of great players. Jack Eichel, a top.
Eichel, Stone,
and then
Pietrangelo.
And Pietrangelo. Yeah. And they have Hannafin just to throw a cherry on top. Like, sure. It's crazy. And then you have someone like Colorado, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Taze, really good players. Landeskog, really, really good players. We don't have any of those players. Yeah. So it becomes a problem of like, where are your prospects? Is Dvorsky going to be someone like that? Is Justin Carbonneau going to be someone like that? Is Stenberg going to be someone like that? Juracek going to be someone like that? I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
And if they're not, then we're kind of just doing this little merry-go-round of having the same discussion for the last few years, where it's like, where is the top-end talent? Is it in your system? If not, you have to find a way to acquire it or draft it.
Agreed.
And it doesn't sound like they're going to do any acquiring anytime soon.
No.
And it doesn't sound like they're in a position to have the number one overall pick. So you do have to pick a path. And right now it's just really unclear. In that graphic I tweeted out yesterday, they're in no man's land.
Yeah.
They don't really know what their direction is. And of course they could go on a heater again and have a great time, win 12 games in a row, get out in the first round on a heartbreaker, and we'll pat ourselves in the head and say, hey, that was a good run, maybe we'll be great next year. That obviously is not the case. So they truly do have to figure out what they are going to do. And we don't have answers to that though. No. Like, we don't know what they should do.
Yeah. No, I don't know either. And I hate saying, because there has been, I think of examples recently of Detroit. I think of Arizona when they were in Arizona, and they're actually kind of turning the corner now in Utah. I think of Buffalo. All of these teams, they're kind of all turning the corner now, finally. All of them, though, blew it up, just got rid of all of their players. And how long it took for them to get back to a winning position was nuts.
Yeah.
And Buffalo still hasn't made the playoffs in the last 15 years. That's crazy.
That is mostly you know how hard it is to not make the playoffs for that long?
Oh, it's hard.
It's crazy. So that's just really, really poor management in my opinion.
I agree. But at the same time, they, I'm trying to remember, like trading away Eichel, yep. Right? They didn't think that he didn't really like it in Buffalo or whatever, and they wanted a lot of value in return. And, they got some good players back. Like I had Alex Tuck and a couple of picks, from it. But it didn't put them in a better position, at least at that moment. But now it's, again, starting to turn it around. So it takes a very long time to do this. And that's the one thing I'm hesitant about, when it's like, okay, trade away Booch, trade away Kyrou, trade away Volk, trade away Parayko, trade away everybody. It's like, don't do that. Let's slow our horses down and then to take it piece by piece. And like, you don't have to trade these players in a matter of like all three at the same time. You could be like, all right, what's the effect on the defense if Justin Falk isn't there? What's the effect on the offense? How can they produce in 10 games without Jordan Kyrou, right? What do they look like on the ice? It's almost like a little science experiment. It's like, all right, let's get enough games, let's have our data, and let's see what happens. I think that's my point. Sample size. Yeah.
I mean, you have to look at two players that are kind of begging the question here as we talk about it. What do you do with Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway?
You keep them.
You keep them, and what do you sign them to?
Oh, man.
Do you actually, pay them like you pay Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou? Or are we going to go in low, and then all of a sudden you're looking at them potentially walking away if you offer them to not enough money?
Wait, so are you saying that they're going to want more money because they're on a bad team now with less players?
No. I'm saying in order to lock them up for long term, you will have to probably pay them a lot of money. They might not go in for like an 8x8 like they did with Rob and Kyrou, but I would totally foresee a world where the Blues offer Holloway 4-year, $7 million, $8 million. He was your second best forward last year.
He was, but he's been absent this year.
Well, he's been hurt for a while now
he's
too.
Been hurt twice.
But to be honest, I think Holloway, for his flaws so far this year, I think he's been better than Jordan Kyrou this year.
I don't know.
He has. I think so. I really think he has, and he's also much more multifaceted than Kyrou, in my opinion. But Broberg, he is probably a long-term defenseman.
He is absolutely an $8 million player.
So you pay him, 5-year, $8 million, something like that, maybe
do
7,
that.
whatever.
Let's do that.
However long you can get him.
There's a reason why he's playing on Team Sweden.
So that is where a lot of money is going to go, into probably locking those guys up longer term.
Well, I don't know about. I think like 6.5 for Holloway.
Whatever it may be. It doesn't. It's close, but cap's going to go up. You just kind of, take a deep breath and just try to figure out what in the world could they actually do, and is re-signing those players in their best interest, or is it trading them at the mid-season trade deadline and getting a massive haul for really talented younger players?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, it is interesting.
Are they going to be your answer for your team? I'm really not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Broberg would be, but if you're going to entertain trading either of the two, it's probably Holloway.
Yeah,
but again, the forwards. There's no depth in the forwards right now, so in terms of point production. So where you're going to probably trade away a key factor in your offense once he comes back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you trade those guys or not, but there's much more lower hanging fruit, I think, than Broberg or Holloway. But those guys are contract years.
Yeah, right.
So it's going to become pretty prevalent soon as to what you should do with them. I don't know.
So let's transition into one more segment, and then we'll be done, because we're really burning a lot of time, which is great. I love it. Hour 24 right now. We're approaching a year as a podcast. I think the first episode was early February, something like that, maybe late January, one of the two. Hasn't quite hit a year yet. It's been a lot of fun moments along the way. What would you say is your favorite
podcast?
Yeah.
This trip's been really fun.
Yeah.
I think we will be able to look back on this one and say it was a ton of fun, and glad that we did it.
Let's put this is probably an easy one for us to say. I'd say if we said this trip, but
I will say when they did go on their 12-game win streak, it was one of the most fun experiences ever, and also being involved in it mildly, and reporting on them, and sharing that to social media, and having listeners and such, listen to what we're talking about with the team was quite literally one of the coolest things ever, because it was so much fun to watch them be so good for a very long stretch of time.
Yeah. How about a top three? So you said Vegas trip, or Utah Vegas trip, and then 12-game win streak. One other thing.
Being able to interview all these players. I mean, it's been.
But how about one specifically?
Walking into the booth a month ago to see
Bernie
and Chris Pronger. It's like,
that was nuts.
What are we doing here? You know, it's a pinch me type of moment.
Yeah,
what about yourself?
Yeah, so obviously this trip, I would say, I think that the content that we got him was good. I think a lot of it would have been nice to have him in person, but it was a pinch me moment for me to have Robert Thomas on. Like,
totally.
It just was. I was kind of like, we didn't really do a lot of preparation for that interview. We just didn't. And we kind of knew what we were talking about, certain things we wanted to touch on, but the conversation kind of went a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And I really liked where it went. So that was one of my favorites from there. But I would also say for me is John Kelly last year when we were first getting started. Like, it first of all made me see there was potential with this, that John Kelly would start telling good stories, that we were getting that out of him, you know, and that for me as aspiring broadcast person, that to listen to a guy like him talk about his career and talk about how he's been through it, and also just talk candidly about the Blues. You know, that is exactly my dream on what to do in the future of my life. So it's like, that moment for sure was one of our best. And I wish that, I don't know if you remember this, on our YouTube, StreamYard, that we had a triangle set up with John Kelly on the background of our screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we had like the little overlay.
Yeah.
And then it was my screen, your screen, and John Kelly, and he was literally off the overlay.
Oh, man.
Like, good thing we have Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that to have a better version of it. But it was not good video quality whatsoever.
No.
How about a biggest like gaffe you can think of? Or,
like the worst moment?
Yeah, worst moment. Yeah. Besides, like the 3-second game.
Yeah, that was
1.6 second game.
I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, the first game of the year this year was a ton of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
That was a very low point, just given the context of how the rest of the season has gone. Like, when they lost to Minnesota 5-0, it was like, okay, well, maybe this was a fluke. Like, you immediately think like, oh no, like maybe last year wasn't real. You don't want to think like that, blah, blah, blah. And it did turn out that is exactly almost what happened.
Yeah.
Like, that game kind of dictated the whole entire season, in my opinion, as to how things would play out. You're not getting top contributions from your top players. Everything is going wrong. And that's how I felt. Goaltending's bad. We're not scoring goals. Defense is out to lunch. That is kind of how this season has felt, is that first game of the season.
Yeah. I think that's a really good one. I would also say, for me, one of my least favorite moments, Boston.
This year?
Yeah. Horrendous.
That was bad.
Like, they played so bad in that game, too. And we heard that Bruins goal horn like 6 times, or 5 or 6. I think it was 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times. And it's like, ding, ding, whoa. Like, sick of that. And glad we got out of there. And then I had to go home to my dorm and hear about it. Yeah. That was not fun, because they also don't understand how much time we dedicate to the team, and how cool it is to go to a Boston Bruins game like that at TD Garden just for them to get smoked. Like, that hurt.
It sucks.
That hurt a lot.
I'll also say a close number 2 is now you do feel like the changing of the guards. Like, they've lost the Blackhawks twice now.
Ugh.
They're 1-2 against the Blackhawks, and it does feel like the script has flipped and the Blackhawks are now better than the Blues again.
Yeah.
And it's fun, like, for rivalry purposes, to see the Blackhawks get better, but what we didn't expect is for the Blues to get significantly worse.
Right.
And that they have, and that makes me sad. It makes me sad that organization has somehow figured it out faster than we have, and they
were on a rebuild for a long
really
time, too.
embraced the tank method as well.
They did.
And they got very lucky, and their number 1 pick to draft Bedard.
Yeah.
They were not supposed to win that lottery pick, and they ended up winning. So a little bit of luck played into their franchise turnaround and a lot of patience, but they also had won 3 Stanley Cups prior to that, so I don't really have a lot of sympathy for that fan base. But I think that's a number 2 for me, where it's just like you do feel like things have changed and you kind of felt like the Blues have been left behind almost.
Yeah. No, that's I'll echo that sentiment.
That's a bit dramatic, but it does feel like that.
But it does feel like that. And because it's just like the false sense of hope that last year gave us. It's like I would have rather not made the playoffs last year than have to experience all of what this potentially in the future is going to happen with this team.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a hot take, I'm sure, but I truly believe that because I don't want to go through a rebuild and blow it up like what we've been talking about.
Because you've not been good already.
Right.
And that's the problem with thinking about blowing it up, is that they have actually not been good for the last 3 full seasons.
Yeah.
And I know last year they made the playoffs, but let's be honest, like they did have a very good run, but prior to that they were not a good team.
No.
And the season before that they were not a good team. The season before that they were not a good team. So it does kind of beg the question, like, what has all this been for?
I don't know.
You know, and they got this false sense of hope last year in making the playoffs, and at least it seems like it was a false sense of hope and kind of a fluky lightning in a bottle situation. But they have not been a good team for a while now. And all of a sudden we're like, I guess we should blow it up. Like, what are we blowing up? This team's already not good. So it feels like this whole thing has been manufactured to like just ultimate disappointment almost.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a good team, but we're kind of acting like we're blowing a good team up. We're like, we're not.
Yeah.
We're blowing up an already bad team that was already blown up 4 years prior to that.
Exactly.
So it's really strange, honestly, the moment they find themselves in with their team.
Yeah. You heard it all here first. The first ever road trip episode, I think it was a success. Personally. Really fun stuff. A lot of sad stuff to think about. Very, very pessimistic tone.
That's why last year you do have to enjoy your rides.
Yes.
And it's really important as sports fans. I'm not going to preach, but so a podcast that I listened to said you really do have to look up and really enjoy when things are going well for your team.
Oh, yeah.
And last year, I feel like, I really, really did try to embrace all those moments.
Sure.
And of course, it ended really poorly, but you do have to admire the rides.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, these times are going to come, and it's a bummer, but last year was a lot of fun, and we should, be grateful for it at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, we started out the ride 4 hours away from
how
Las
far are we
Vegas,
right now?
and now we're just under 2.5.
Okay, good. Nice.
So
Okay.
we're making really good progress here. Well, thanks for tuning into this one. And I guess this will be uploaded on tomorrow probably. So you'll have already seen a lot of this content. But make sure to check out the completed vlog. That will also happen. That will probably take clips of this.
Go Blue.
But also a bunch of other stuff that we do, that we did yesterday and that we'll do today. So fun stuff all around. And we'll catch you next week, hopefully after some more Blues hockey.